G'day everyone, it's Justin and Scott.
Hi.
Two dads again from BRRRRRM Australia, coming to you today from a 2017 Mazda CX-5 SUV. Now mate, the CX-5 has been a really popular car in Australia. It's been a really good car for Mazda.
Very much so.
I think the original one came out in 2012, so the first gen ones are starting to get to, you know, that age, I suppose, where people might be thinking of trading them in on different cars out there.
Yes.
So I thought what we might do, we'd have a drive of the all-new one. This is the 2017 one, just came out early this year, and see whether, you know, I guess we think that people should have a look at this car, maybe to upgrade or maybe think about something else. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. So the one we're in today is the Maxx Sport, which is, in the previous one, the most popular model. It's got a good combination of price and features. This one today is the all-wheel drive 2.5 petrol. It's about $37,390 for a list price. Comes with a, as I said, a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder Skyactiv petrol engine. You can run it on 91 octane, which is good. 140 kilowatts at 6,000 RPM, 251 Newton meters, 4,000 RPM, 6-speed auto, and it does around about a combined 7.5 litres per 100 Ks. Mate, you've had a drive of the CX-5 now.
I have.
What are your thoughts?
Where do I start? So first impressions, I think, is you know, the outside of the car styling's really nice. You get into it and wow, it feels really quite luxurious. Yep. Really like the design inside. It's a bit like they've shown some restraint.
They haven't mucked around with the styling, have they? I mean, it's looking very similar to the previous model, but they've sort of tweaked it a little bit. Maybe they got the CX-9 style nose on the front, everything like that, but they haven't done anything radical to it, have they?
No, that's true. Yep. So styling and comfort, you know, just sitting in the car and everything, really impressed, right? First impression's really good.
And how quiet it is.
Very quiet. Yep. So again, that luxurious feel.
Yeah.
For a car in this model, you know, sub 40k, certainly hitting above its weight, I think. Yeah. Next impressions, I suppose, when we start driving it, it's good. This is the 2.5 litre petrol engine. I wouldn't want to be doing anything less than this one. I think you need, you know, it's a reasonably heavy car and it needs to have the pickup that this engine's got as minimum. So I would like to see it even with a little bit more, but this is the minimum I'd want to go for.
Yeah, there is a 2 litre version available, but yeah, probably doesn't suit.
Having not driven it,
the size of the car.
You know, I shouldn't criticise it, but I would say this is probably the minimum I'd go for. You know, I think the other things we look for when we're driving the cars is, you know, the brakes fit for purpose, how's the suspension and the ride quality, and I've got to say, you know, the brakes are okay, they pull this thing up quick enough, they don't overdo it, and I think in suspension-wise, and definitely the ride is really quite smooth actually. I really like it. It's running over some of those really big bumps back there, and just rolling over them really nicely. And as you do in SUVs, you get a bit of body roll when you go around the corners. I think they, you know, with some of the SUVs, they tighten that up a bit. This one seems to have a little bit more body roll than others, but you expect that for a car like this, I think. So yeah, I don't know if you found that, but I was finding there's a little bit of body roll when I started to take some of the corners at a little bit higher speed.
Oh, I personally think, like, for an SUV, it handles pretty well. Like you say, like, it's not a sports car, but, you know, Mazda always pride themselves on that, you know, zoom thing about, you know, the little bit of MX-5 in every Mazda that you drive, and they're kind of right. Like, it's very tidy in the way that it goes around corners. I think you and I had this discussion about the steering. I don't mind it at all. You thought it was a little light?
A little light, yeah.
Now, mate, the 2017 version of the CX-5 has been upgraded with a lot of new safety features, I suppose, as standard. Comes standard with like city braking. It'll, you know, if you have to pull up suddenly and you're not aware of something, it'll do that for you, which is good. Also, rear cross traffic alerts now standard on the car. Blind spot monitoring, rear parking sensors as well. Reversing camera as well, standard. So, you know, if you go back to 2012 when this car first came out, you know, all that stuff was either not available or optional in the car. So, you know, they've done pretty well with that respect there. You know, DAB is now standard on it, internet radio, Pandora, LED headlights. That's been put as standard on the car too. So, you know, I think, you know, they've thrown stuff at the car, which is good. So.
Yep. I think when we're talking about that safety features that you just listed, that's pretty much as good as you get in the class.
Yeah.
That's pretty much ticking all the boxes, right? That's pretty good for a sub 40k car.
It's probably a bit more than some of the other competitors, I think. You know, like with that, you know, smart city braking and all that kind of stuff now standard. So, yeah.
We've seen that being adopted by the manufacturers very quickly, right? Probably much more than we've seen a lot of other features come down to all the base models.
Yeah, which should have an effect on insurance too. Like if you've got that, and you know the insurance company knows that the car will stop itself pretty well, hopefully they'll put your premium down. So.
That's right. And I mean, we're trying to review these cars and, you know, looking for fun cars, but more than anything else, looking at family-friendly cars. Yeah. And that safety piece is really important. I think we don't underplay the importance of that. Yeah. And to have all the boxes ticked is really important.
Well, I think from that family-friendly standpoint, mate, the CX-5s now from the Maxx Sport and above come with the rear vents in the back for the kids. So the air vents, that's one thing the previous model didn't have, which I thought was a little bit of a negative if you're on a long trip. At least you've got ventilation now for the kids. Yep. The back here has also got a rear armrest that's got 2 USB ports in it as well for the kids' devices.
I saw that, and I think that's great, right? Yeah, that's a great selling point for the kids.
Yeah, I agree. But the Maxx Sport, you know, this was the best value for money in the previous model, I suppose, because it had, you know, a lot of good features in it. Like this one's got the climate air, navigation, auto headlights, auto wipers, you know, alloy wheels in it, things like that. So, you know, it's a pretty good value for money car.
Now, you were telling me something before, which I find a bit of a challenge for people going out there to buy this car. It's a positive and a negative. So there are 5 different models, am I right?
Yeah, there's a Maxx Sport, there's a new model called the Touring, and I think there's a GT and a Kira or something, which is the top of the range one. So there's 5 separate models.
And in addition to that, 3 different engine choices?
Yeah, you can get a 2-litre petrol, 2.5 petrol, and a 2.2 turbo diesel as well.
So you can see that's great because it gives the consumer so much choice.
Oh, but wait, there's more. All-wheel drive and front-wheel drive.
Wow. So I think that's quite a challenge for someone going to buy a car that doesn't, you know, you buy a car every 5 years or something. Yeah. Trying just to work out if this is the right car to start with. Yeah. And then working out within all those variations, what's the right one? 2-litre, 2.5, diesel, you know, the engine, and then the different spec levels. Have you got any thoughts of where the sweet spot is?
Well, mate, it's funny you should mention that. The Mazda's just brought out this sort of mid-range one called the Touring, which I personally think is probably the best value for money in the range. You know, like we said, this one's the Maxx Sport all-wheel drive 2.5, 37,390 list price, but for an extra $1,600, you could get yourself into the Touring, which comes with those Maxx Sport features, but also smart keyless entry. So, you know, keep your keys in the pocket, just walk up, you know, touch the door handle to open it and everything. That's a great feature if you've got kids, especially in that. Different trims, got suede trim, head-up display, which is good, which has traffic recognition as well, like traffic sign recognition, front parking sensors, heated mirrors, like in winter time, you know, if the car frosts over or something like that, it's got heated mirrors too. So for $1,600, I reckon that's pretty good value for money.
Okay. So I think a consumer, as you know, someone going to buy this car needs to actually spend some time to go through that list and find out where's the right price and package for them. Yeah. I mean, so I'm already saying I think you need the 2.5-litre petrol engine, right? I probably wouldn't recommend you need to go to diesel unless you're doing lots of kilometres.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive. That's a bit of
I'd personally go all-wheel drive. I would.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry, the all-wheel drive. Yep.
Just for the safety aspect of it. I mean,
that's right.
You know,
around the streets in a wet weather and stuff,
car.
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And so then it's the spec of the car, and you know,
Yeah.
for me, something like leather seats with kids has always been a huge benefit. When something gets spilled, easy to clean
Wipe it up. Yep.
So I'm probably looking at the one that's got the leather seats, but that's
Yeah.
my personal view. So yeah.
But they do go up in price though, mate. It gets a bit pricey. But you know, if you're on a family budget, personally, I think that the Touring's the one maybe have a look at. So yeah. Okay. All right, Scott. You've had a drive of the new 2017 CX-5. What do you think?
On the whole, a really good car. Obviously, you know, backs up the earlier models that they've made in terms of, you know, the sales have been phenomenal, and I can see why. I think this is a great step forward in that car, not losing what it was before, but actually improving on a lot of things. I think the big thing for me is really the tech and the safety features, especially. Really stand out.
Yeah, which are now standard on it, aren't they?
Yeah,
So,
it's very, very impressive, and in some ways a compelling reason to go for the car and alone.
Yeah.
The quality of fit inside, from the noise, you know, it's very quiet, and the quality of everything inside just feels really quite luxurious for a car this price point especially. So a lot of positives.
Yeah. I agree with you, mate. I think, you know, if people are out there, if they've owned a CX-5 and they've had, you know, a good run with it, these little things that they've actually improved the car with, you know, it's worthwhile. Like, you know, the extra vents in the back and, you know, all that, like the refinement, as you say. You know, if you want a good thing, stick to it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that X Factor question, is it something you would look back at? Is the new styling something enough for you to check out?
Yeah, I think the new styling's quite dramatic, so I think it does stand out a bit.
Okay.
And I think, you know, if this is a car for someone, I think they would look back at this car because it's not bland by any means. It really stands out. They've done a good job.
It's quite stylish, isn't it? In terms of, it looks more upmarket, I suppose, doesn't it? Yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, just want to put out a great big thank you to our friends at AMR Mazda at Petersham for the loan of the CX-5 today. And again, thanks to everyone out there for keeping our views up. Really appreciate it. And I
Thanks
guess
for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. See you later.
See ya.